Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to, for now, Tenby Elephant Park. And we have elephants. What a surprise. My name's Kelly. I'm going to be with you for the next couple of hours to see what is happening on these fabulous live streams. Always a lovely place to start here at Tenby. These big guys just relaxing here in the shade. So remember everyone, we are live and interactive. You are most welcome to send any questions or comments through. Tell me where you are in the world, if there's anything you would particularly like to talk about today. You're welcome to join in the conversation on X using hashtag WildEarth, or you can scan the QR code you can see at the bottom of your screens. We love hearing from everyone, finding out where you are, what you're doing. I know some of you do spend a lot of time watching these fabulous live feeds. I would love to hear what you've been seeing. Send through your questions and comments via WhatsApp. And we will get them read out as often as we can, the numbers at the bottom of your screens. A very peaceful scene here. I'd love to hear some of your, oh, we've got another one joining in. I'd love to hear from some of your favourite moments that you've been seeing on these wildlife cameras. There's so many to choose from now. How many do we have down here? 4 with another one coming in. That's a lovely little... It's this guy that's just come in. It looks like he's going to do a spot of dusting. Giving it a good kick there, just to loosen up some nice fresh sand. A nice little exfoliation session. It's lovely. There's still lots of water here. It's definitely drying out now. Where I am here in the low veld, the grass is starting to turn. It's going brown. Some of the water holes are definitely dropping, but there's still lots of water here at Tenby. I've never actually been to Tenby, although I feel like I've almost been there because of these fabulous cameras. The temperatures certainly here are definitely becoming more sensible, shall we say now. Nice low 30s, some cooler days. I'm not sure if we're going to get any more rain. We might get lucky and get some more rain. Some of the leaves are slowly starting to turn here as well in the low veld. Harriet Hodgin, hello Kelly, happy Monday from a coolish Cape Town. Hello Harriet, or Harrietta? Harriet, apologies. Welcome from a coolish Cape Town. It's amazing that, you know, through these cameras, through these links, people from far and wide, so you might be listening from 10 k's up the road from where I am now, or you might be listening from the other side of the world. I know there are lots of people that have spent time in Africa and take huge amounts of joy from checking back in and being able to enjoy the bush via these cameras. What have we? I'm seeing something zoomed. I can't quite make out what it. Oh, it's an elephant's tail. I thought I was looking at. Oh no, it's a giraffe. That's like one of those magic eye pictures. I just saw a tail. I thought we were looking at the nest, but look at that guy at the back there. That was amazing. I totally didn't pick that out at all. I just saw that tail movement. These giraffes consider, well, all of everything that's out here, the camouflage is insane. Yesterday I was actually driving, and I'm fortunate enough to live in an estate where there are giraffes, and you come around a corner and sort of 3 meters away, massive big giraffe in the road. I totally didn't see that at all. Anne McSee, your 4:30 a.m. insomnia in Western Canada. Oh gosh, I'm sorry about that, Anne. That's not good. Happy show. Good morning. Thank you so much for your for checking in with us, Anne. I appreciate it. I'm sorry you are struggling with insomnia at 4:30 in the morning. I've spent many years getting up at in the summer my clock used to go off at 3:30 when I was guiding full time. So I'm now very au fait with early hours. I used to say in my younger partying days I would often only come back when the sun was up, but I think I've cancelled out. I've got up and seen sunrises now more times than I've got home seeing sunrises. I think I've finally crossed over that bridge. So, but sorry, you're not sleeping, Anne. Sandy Franklin 69, good morning from the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee. Ooh, lovely. I would love to hear about what you're seeing there, Sandy Franklin 69. Probably not elephants, but I haven't spent as much time as I would have liked exploring other national parks around the world. I've never, this is terrible, and I'm probably going to get in terrible trouble for saying it, but I've never actually been to a national park anywhere in the States. That's criminal. I've only visited the States once. Yeah, once I think. And I certainly didn't. I actually went to Las Vegas with my mum, which is far away from my normal scene, but it's what she wanted to do, so I accompanied. But I've never been to a Yellowstone or anywhere. It's definitely on my to-do list. There are so many amazing natural areas around the world, and I want to see all of them. I actually have a friend at the moment who's in India. She's just been to see a snow leopard. That sounds like she went to a zoo. She's just spent a very long time and worked very, very hard to get a single sighting of a snow leopard, and I'm very jealous.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
We understand that not everybody has got spare pennies to rub together at the end of the month. We're introducing an initiative called Gift an Explorer.
So that those with lots of pennies can gift a Wild Earth Explorer access to those with fewer.
We're aiming for 250 gifts, but the more the merrier.
You can nominate a recipient or keep it anonymous.
It's a great way to share the Wild Earth mission with other nature lovers around the world.
I do enjoy watching elephants like this, and how tolerant everyone is of everyone's space in family groups. Obviously you'd expect the females and little ones to all be tolerant of each other, but even in these non-family groups as such, everyone's still, you know, there's enough space, let's all share the shade, guys, with a very occasional little nudge or a bump. But why expend extra energy that you don't need when you can all just share nicely? Endlani is asking, why do elephants mud wallow and then throw dry sand after that? It's a good question. There's a few reasons. Mainly it acts as a sort of sunblock or insecticide, and then the sand after that, they don't exfoliate. Oh, hello, photobomb from the giraffe there. Sunblock and insect control, I would say, are the two main reasons, to keep them cool. If there's a thick layer of mud and sand on them, it will protect their skin. I mean, their skin is pretty tough, but that African heat can be quite brutal even if you're an elephant. And also some element of mite or parasite control are the two main reasons. Well, let's leave this lovely little group at Tembe. Let's head over to, I think, Oldonyo, maybe see what we've got happening over there. Let's see who we have. Ah, that's a lovely view. Oh, look, it's just about to drink. I always go quiet when giraffes drink. don't do that. Don't interrupt. You should never interrupt a giraffe when they're drinking. Again. And we've got a couple of eland in the background, which is I've just had to second guess myself, but they are eland. Because I haven't seen that many eland. I've seen them a few times in the Kruger. Oh yes, that's one. That looks like that's a big eland walking across there. Look how big those guys are. These are the biggest antelopes in Africa. There's actually a giant eland that's found up in up towards Central Africa. I don't think these are the giant eland, but they're certainly cute. Look, that was cool. Used to scratch the horns there, reaching those areas that. Oh, hi everyone! This is very cool. I'm not sure. Do we normally see eland on Aldonio's camera? Very special to see these eland though, and a lovely view. Like I said, I haven't spent that much time watching them, to be honest. So I'm as keen as everyone else to learn and find out what these guys are going to be up to. So these big bulls, they can weigh up to, I believe, sort of 800 kilograms, almost up to a ton sometimes. Where else did I see them? I also saw them in the Kalahari, up that side there. But I haven't spent much time with eland. There's lots of one of the things I know about eland is there's lots of speculation around why they make a clicking sound sometimes, and people often discuss whether or not it comes from their hooves or their knees or something. I think I've probably concluded that it comes from their hooves, and when they run, it's sort of it's like some people said it was cartilage crunching around in their knees or something, which didn't sound too feasible to me. But I would, if anyone's out there who has also researched into why elands make a sort of clicking sound when they move quickly, I would love to hear it. This is an excellent view of these eland. So talking about selective feeders, these elands are quite selective feeders. And they're often looking for they enjoy browsing mostly, also graze, but they enjoy feeding on the new shoots of grass and stuff. So these animals must really struggle through the winter months. Jean Grove, you're asking what kind of spiders do you get in Africa? Jean? Lots. Lots and lots and lots of different spiders. Oh, how many? I could find out, but I couldn't even tell you how many different species of spiders we get in South Africa. Hundreds. There's a huge, and people are always discovering things like new spider species and stuff all the time, but across Africa, lots and lots and lots. We get lots of different types, from teeny tiny little jumping spiders all the way through to baboon spiders, which are some of the bigger ones. Baboon spiders can get up to the size of my hand. It's so cool being able to watch these giraffes drink from such close quarters. I freeze. Mind you, I do the same with dogs. If a dog's having a drink, I tend to sort of go quiet and stop moving around so I don't interrupt them, because it's just good manners, really. And I certainly normally hold my breath whenever giraffes drink, because it's significantly more effort for a giraffe to get down there. But Jean, lots of different types of spiders, from small to big, from friendly to not so friendly. Well, not so friendly. From medically significant to absolutely not medically significant. We do have, I think it's 5 medically significant spiders in South Africa now. I think one of them was possibly reclassified as no longer being medically significant a while ago. I've lost track of that research. There's often many discussions around whether or not which one was it? There used to be 6. I'm not sure if it's been decided that one is no longer medically significant, but I believe, from what I understand, all spiders are venomous. It just depends on how venomous they are, how big their biting mouth parts are, how toxic that venom is, and as a result, from what I understand, there's either 5 or 6 medically significant spiders in South Africa. I'm sure there's lots of others in other parts of the world. I know Australia's got their rather large fair share of highly venomous spiders. We see quite a lot of, I can't remember their scientific name, but their colloquial name is flatties, that we see very often in South Africa, inside homes. I've been seeing them quite a lot recently inside my home, and they're more than welcome to stay. But I think I've been seeing a different type of flatty, or a different subspecies of flatty more recently, and they're not as flat, and they're a little bit more. I would never harm a spider, but I don't really want them near me when I'm asleep, or I don't want them running on me, so I will gently try and relocate them with a cup and a paper. But those flatties are incredibly fast and very difficult to catch with cups and paper, and I have spent entertaining times chasing them around rooms with a feather duster or a broom or something, trying to very gently usher them outside, because I would never hurt one, but I still don't want it on my face when I'm asleep. So that was a really long way of saying Jean Grove. We have lots. We have old world spiders, we have web spinning spiders, we have spiders that live in holes in the ground, we have spiders that build massive webs across roads in the summer, we have spiders that like living in trees, we have spiders that like living under rocks, we have scorpions that look like spiders, we have spiders that mimic ants, or vice versa, I can't remember. We have every sort of spider you can think of. Well, I'm going to leave these beautiful drinking giraffe. I'm possibly also going to do some fairly fast research on eland, because I haven't seen them for a very long time. And let's head over to Founders and see what we've got there. Lovely seeing all those giraffes there together. Ooh, hello! That's an interesting view. Not often you get to look up at a rhino like that. Beautiful
Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today. We are thrilled to announce our new exclusive feature for YouTube members and explorers. Join us live every Tuesday for our sunrise and sunset safaris. Experience Tawny Tuesday like never before with up-close encounters and breathtaking moments. Don't miss out. Become a YouTube member or explorer today and immerse yourself in the heart of the bush. See you Tuesday.
You've heard rhinos are more vulnerable during a full moon. Why is this? It's the light. The full moon casts light, and as I've learned recently, I spent some time in New Zealand and very dark skies, and full moon was insane. You could read a book quite happily. Because that sky was so incredibly dark, the full moon seemed to throw off lots and lots of light. But it's because of the light. If there are people in dark areas doing dubious things, especially in game reserves or wildlife areas, it is wise to, even if you're not supposed to be there, there are things there that could potentially harm you, so you need to see what you're doing and where you're going, and so you'll use a torch. But full moon, especially in reserves where the skies are very dark, you don't always need to use a torch. You can walk and you can see sort of what's going on around you, so the risk, from what I understand, the risk is higher because bad people that skulk around at night can see what they're doing because of the moonlight. It's a shame. I heard that many years ago now, and I always used to go, look at the full moon. But ever since I also heard that, I now look at full moons slightly differently. Hold on. What's going on here then? There's another one. This is why I was not totally convinced this was a bull, because my gut was it was a little bit small, and then I thought, females normally have a calf with them. So I don't currently know if this is male or female, if I'm honest. I think I'll stick with male. But this now suggests that this is a cow and a calf, to be honest. It was really hard to get a scale on that rhino before there was another rhino. I'm trying to see, I think it looks like there's some doves in that tree there. I have different ways of sexing rhinos. Obviously there's the obvious one, you look between their legs or under their belly, but you can't always get that view. So the other, the next method I will normally use is where they are and what they're doing. You do frequently find females with calves, not always, but chances are if you've got an adult animal and a smaller animal, it's normally a female and a calf. And the other method I will sometimes use is their horn. They do say that females sometimes have a longer, thinner horn with a narrower base, but that's not always the case. So yeah, this does look like a female and a calf to me now. But we don't always know if animals are male or female, depending on where they are or what they're doing, or if they're in thick bush or anything like that. It can be quite difficult to tell. I might actually be going to a talk tomorrow night. If anyone is in the Hoodspray area, I believe there is a talk tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. And I think it's about defining different species of black rhino, because there is some confusion and deliberation. I think the longer science is advancing and the more science is advancing, the more we are learning and the more it confuses everything, to be perfectly honest. Like the medicinal importance of the 6th medically important spider. So maybe both of these are female now. So yeah, this talk is about defining the subspecies of black rhino, because the more research science is doing, the more stuff we are finding, and the more stuff we are finding, the more questions it raises about things. So yeah, I mean, these are obviously not black rhino, but yeah, I may be attending a talk on the subspeciation of black rhinos tomorrow evening, which will be very cool. That is an interesting viewpoint of these rhinos. You don't often get to look up on them. He's got a bug there or something. Jilly B is asking, is there a particular age at which a rhino youngster will get a tracker? I'm assuming you mean a tracking device attached to them, as in a chip or something like that. I've actually worked on a project before where they put ankle bracelets on rhinos for tracking purposes. Jilly B, I'm going to assume you mean some sort of tracking device. I know they don't like to anaesthetise young rhinos because of the stress and because they're delicate and they're young. I don't know what is a recommended earlier stage to be able to fit a tracking device to a young rhino. I'm not sure. Don't know. Jilly B, I don't think it would be before 2? No, I'm making it up. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Because young rhinos do normally stay with their mums, so if the mum's fitted with the tracker, the youngsters will stay with it. But then they might want a tracking device in case they got split up, if there was an unpleasant situation. Jilly B, I don't know the answer to that. Not sure. I will have a look into it. But I actually did some work on a project in Madikwe many years ago. I didn't do some work on it. I was fortunate enough to be involved in it. And they were fitting ankle trackers to rhinos. Can't remember the name of the company that developed it now, but there is definitely various systems that are being trialled and that have been put in place to track. Yeah, this one on the left is a bull. I was right. but maybe a young bull and a adult female here. Anyway, yeah, there were fitting tracking devices to these rhinos, and there's lots of you can implant chips for tracking, that sort of thing, just to help to try and keep these animals safe. Nile. I don't know the answer to this question either, but I'm going to read it out anyway. You've heard that male rhinos' reproduction is affected when they are dehorned. Is that true? I don't know. I'm happy to rationalise it with you or talk it through. My gut would say no, because a horn is keratin. If they're dehorned, it just removes that horn, which isn't. If you see a rhino skull, there's no horn on it. Put it that way. So it's not actually attached to their skull as such. A completely. I was going to say skeletonized skull then, but that doesn't make any sense. A very old rhino skull, there's no sign of a horn being there. So that horn isn't technically attached to their skulls, and it's keratin. It would be like, it would almost be the same as saying, if you cut a man's toenails, it would affect his reproduction. Oh no, hold on, I'm rereading this again. I've heard that male rhinos' reproduction is affected. If we're reading it a different way, as in, can they reproduce as often as opposed to their fertility? Possibly. Yes, because again, it depends on the area. If there are 10 male rhinos in an area and 8 of them have been dehorned, the 2 with the horns, there's a good chance that they're going to get more reproductive rights. From what I understand, because they can fight with their horns. Whether or not lady rhinos find male rhinos with horns more attractive, I don't know. Possibly, I'm sure there's scientific research into it. But from the sheer perspective that if a male rhino with a horn and a male rhino without a horn are having a fight, the male rhino with the horn is probably going to win, and the one without the horn is probably going to run away, which would therefore decrease the opportunities for the male without the horn to reproduce. So if you meant from that perspective, probably yes. That was a really long-winded way of answering that, Niall. I thought you meant sort of their fertility, levels of fertility. But opportunities to reproduce, I think that probably is the case. But if you've got 10 male rhinos and none of them have got horns, they're all in the same boat. So in that scenario, I would say that probably not. It's probably not going to have an impact.
Seven nights on safari during the magnificent green season. The rains have stopped, the land is emerald, and there are wild babies everywhere. Meet your favorite presenters.
This is amazing.
And create unforgettable memories on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure.
Thank you for coming along on this little adventure.
The Green Season Grand Tour, only with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive. At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Haina nchumo, haina maka. Emavo kwenye ya milu, haina maka. Lifasila mina ritapela, Nzatsemba, nzatsemba, utatsama na mina.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a salesman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve.
Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
So we have another giant of Mabula.
That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
And there's a clear image of this foot tracking bracelet. Ew, blow your nose. Actually, this is a really nice image. If you look at that, the side of that rhino's nostrils. So come on, look back at us. So just if you imagine if you cupped your right hand just around that right nostril and then your left hand around that other nostril. When I was on this project helping fit these tracking bracelets, we were fortunate enough, a few of the guides there were fortunate enough to participate in the actual when the animals were sedated, and one of them I had to basically monitor their breathing at their nostrils and make sure their breathing was regular and good depth, and it wasn't irregular and everything was fine. And I had a hand basically cupped around each side of those nostrils, and each nostril was bigger. See, look, if you just around the side there, I'm actually doing it. Just held around the edges where it sort of sticks out a little bit. Those nostrils are bigger than my hands, and that skin around the side of their nostrils there is like velvet. It's very, very soft. And as you can see from here, quite snotty, quite soft. But it was that from that whole project. That's what I took away, is how incredibly soft the edges of a rhino's muzzle or nose are. It was insane being that close to a rhino, being able to touch them and smell them and feel them. And the other thing I took away from it was their bodies, their body structure. You'd think it was sort of, obviously they're big animals, they're big tough animals with thick skin, but you might think that their bodies were sort of, I'm trying to think of a something to compare it to, like a bodybuilder's thigh, the same sort of texture as that. There's a little bit of give in there, solid, but there is a little bit of squish to it. There is no squish to a rhino anywhere. It's like steel. That body, if you try and push that with your hand, there is no give to it. They are absolutely solid. So that's what I took away from that most, is how soft those velvety noses are, and how incredibly hard their bodies are. Wendell, would rhinos survive in an Amazon-like area? Wendell, there are rhinos in Sumatra, which I believe is in jungled areas. So Amazon jungle, the jungles around the Amazon, and also the jungles of Borneo. The jungles of Borneo are actually some of the oldest rainforests in the world. I was going to go to the Amazon many years ago, but I did some research and it turns out that the rainforests of Borneo are actually older, apparently, so I decided to go there. But anyway, these rhinos, would they survive in jungle? Possibly. If there's water and food and other rhinos, then I don't really see why not. Obviously, we know white rhinos prefer those more open grasslands, savannas, and our black rhinos more prefer thicket areas. Maybe black rhinos would do better in an Amazon-like area because they're, you know, more browsers. These white rhinos are more grazers. Don't know how much grass there is in the Amazon. Wendell, in theory, if there's food and water, I don't see why not. And there are, of course, those there's Javan, Sumatran, and there's another greater one-horned rhino, possibly. I'm sure I will get a revision on this tomorrow if I go to this talk about subspeciation of black rhino. So, if you let this rhino go in the Amazon, would it survive? Food and water possibly, but then you do have the added confusion of things like disease. I'm sure there's diseases in the Amazon that are not very nice, and possibly rhinos without any historical built-up defense mechanisms against diseases from that area. It's like, has anyone ever been on a plane and come off a plane with a horrendous flu, like cold? It's not necessarily that it's a particularly virulent type of virus that you've got. Apparently it's because a French dose of cold virus is slightly different from an American dose of cold virus, and because we've never had that virus before, it affects us worse. So maybe it would be the same for diseases and rhinos in the Amazon. Really, we're getting some great questions today. Thank you, everyone. Please do keep sending them in. I really enjoy doing this because it makes my brain work. And like I said, it's the more we learn and the more we understand, the more we don't know. The more we realise we don't actually know. So please, I'm loving these questions today. Please keep sending them through to wildearth.tv/questions, or scan the QR code that you can see on your screen. Please do send them through. We will get to as many as we can, and I will probably continue to not know the answers to many of them, and continue to share my ongoing thought processes with you. So please keep them coming. I think let's leave this delightful bottom on our screen and head back across to El Doño and see what changes we have there. Does my bum look big in this? Absolutely. I actually spoke many years ago to my tracker, my fabulous tracker, Noel Satole. If you're listening, I would love it if you were. He taught me more than pretty much anyone else I know. We were gonna, oh, what's happening here? Giraffes? We were gonna, and I think someone's done it, bottoms of Africa, and just spend lots of time taking pictures of things walking off into the distance and turn it into a coffee table book. Maybe someone's done that. I would love to hear if anyone has a bottoms of Africa book. I think that would sell like hotcakes. What upset those giraffes? Giraffes can be very good indicators of predators or something that they are concerned about. They do lots of staring. They stare really well, and they can see things from a long way away, which lots of animals can't. And I've spent lots and lots of time looking at giraffes, going, I wonder what that giraffe's looking at, and they just sort of stare. This guy on the right hand side of the screen far right photobombing. He hasn't taken his eyes off this spot over here. There we go. No, is he coming to have a look? Is he coming to investigate closer? What are we looking at? Wow, how impressed would I be if a leopard suddenly walked in front of the camera? That would make me very happy. No, it looks like a female here, really staring at something in the grass there. And it could be something or it could be nothing. And I've spent lots of time rolling backwards and forwards in vehicles going, is there anything down there? Something definitely gave them a fright though, and I'm pretty sure if there's any sound or movement coming from that camera, they'd be used to it by now. They're definitely having a good look. Oh, come on, something cool walk out. But yeah, sat in vehicles going, what's that giraffe looking at? And you roll backwards and forwards and the giraffe keeps looking, and then you say, is the giraffe looking at me now? And you go backwards and forwards again. And I think one time I specifically remember this giraffe was staring and staring and staring in the grass and staring in the grass. And in the end, my tracker and I said, let's just go and look. There's something in the grass there. What is it? And this giraffe had been watching a tortoise very intently for a very long time. The tortoise slowly made its way through the grass. But always a good idea to go and have a little look. Because animals are very good at telling us lots of the things that we need to know. If you can just get a little bit of practice and information about body language and how animals learn, it gives us some really nice opportunities to understand them so much better. Here, look at those. These okies in the back, a little bit of a fracas. Is fracas a word? In the back there. There, everyone's coming back again. Imagine how stressful life must be, though, for these animals. But then you think to the next level. You think deeper. Do they find it stressful, or is that just life? That's just what they're used to. Potentially being pounced on or chased or eaten at any moment. Look at those two at the back there. They're having a good old shove around. And those eland are still back there. What else can we learn together about eland? Let's see what this says about that. It doesn't actually say anything about the clicking. Oh no, hold on. Some bulls make a distinctive castanet clicking sound while walking. This sound can be heard from quite a distance. Yes, I agree. This book I have in front of me says some experts think the sound is probably caused by two halves of each hoof clapping together after being splayed apart. Others believe it's produced by a tendon snapping while slipping over the animal's knee joint. I don't think that's likely. Imagine if you had tendons snapping and slipping over knee joints. That can't be good for you. So interesting that this book does mention it. Some suggest clicks alert individual animals that the herd is on the move, or to younger bulls that a large bull is approaching. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. If I was
We love all creatures in the African bush, from the biggest to the smallest, including the tiny little insects and arthropods. But some of them are not as charming as we'd like them to be. So that's why I trust peaceful sleep. And it lasts up to 8 hours too, so I can stay out longer, both at day and night, and not feel like I'm somebody's snack.
South Africa's wild places are closer than you think, because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild.
Wear the hoof down. The other time it might happen would maybe be in severe flood, if everything was really wet and squishy. Not common though, as far as I'm aware. But again, nature is perfect, and you don't need to clip wild animals' feet or clip wild dogs' claws or any of the other things, because nature is perfect and it sorts all that out for us. It's only when we start bringing things and putting things in zoos and bringing things into our homes and stuff that any of it doesn't work exactly as it should. So I've never seen a giraffe with an overgrown hoof, Nathan. Again, massively long-winded way of answering your question. They get worn down with rocks, and even this, you know, even hard mud would also have an effect, like almost like walking in sand would have a sort of sandpapery effect. It doesn't just have to be. I'm a horse rider. I know I used to very regularly and very expensively have to have farriers come and care for my horse's feet, because he wasn't running around with zebra and had shoes on, and therefore wasn't able to regulate his own foot growth as nature intended. Erica Oldno, hello, hi. You say hi, Kelly, nice to hear your voice again after such a long time. Thank you. Erica, I feel like I'm using my voice liberally today and giving you all of my thought processes. I've heard about the hoof theory from another guide recently. I would love to, what hoof theory do you mean exactly? What I've just been talking about, please follow up and tell me what hoof theory you mean, because I'm always very keen to hear other people's stories and other people's information, and but yeah, if you've heard something different from what I've just said, please send it through, because this is how we all learn and develop our ideas and all the rest of it. But people, like I said, I've never seen it. Maybe someone else has. And the longer I watch things and the longer I'm in the bush, although I haven't been spending as much time in the bush recently as I have in the past, or I would like to, the more we're there, the more we see, and the more we see, the more we learn, and the more that we learn, the more we understand. Which is what it's all about for me, and one of the reasons I enjoy doing this. I absolutely do not know everything, far from it. And it's having questions sent in and hearing theories that people have heard from other people, that gives us information, and also a lot more information than we get from books. I remember when I was training, you hear that this runs this speed, and this eats this, and this does this, and all the rest of it, and then you see something and you're like, my book didn't say that happened, but it does, because I can see it happening. But yeah, the foot thing, nature is perfect. And I used to have to get my horse's feet done regularly, but he was wearing metal shoes and he wasn't running around on sandy mud and all the rest of it, so I had to maintain that, and quite rightly so, the same as people need to maintain their dog's claws. They need to make sure don't get too long. And I know lots of dogs don't like it, and people will teach them how to use their own scratching board, which is a very cool way of getting them to file their own claws. You can teach them to, you set up sort of a little, basically heavy sandpaper and a little slanty board, and you can teach them to file their own claws rather than upsetting them, because I know lots of dogs don't like having their claws clipped. You can just teach them to file their own nails. How cool is that? But no, giraffes don't need that, because they're running around and twisting and turning on different substrates, which keeps their hooves nice and short. Dina, how different is the pattern of Maasai giraffe compared to the giraffe in SA? Okay, this is a can of worms, Dina. Species and subspecies of giraffe. It's a Maasai giraffe, and then you go down the route of giraffe in SA, is it a Southern African giraffe? Is it a reticulated giraffe? The coat patterns are different from memory. I used to have a really nice little sort of infographic thing. I don't know where it is right now. It's quite different. I think if I remember correctly, it's more jaggedy, whereas the giraffe we're looking at now, they're generally sort of a rounded splodge on their coats with sort of rounded edges coming off it. But I think if I remember correctly, Maasai giraffe it almost looks like someone's blobbed paint, and almost like you would shape icing. You know, if you put a blob of colour on icing and then run a toothpick through it, more sort of jaggedy and pointy. But then you get on to the how many species of giraffe are there. It was 9 for a bit, it was 7 for a bit, then it was subspecies, species with subspecies, and it went 5, and then it went back to 7. And lots of them do have different coat patterns. Whether or not I would be able to tell if one of these was a Maasai giraffe and one of them was a Southern African giraffe, probably. No, wait, hold on. This is Aldonio. I think we should go and look at some elephants, at Elephant Pan, and in the meantime, I'm going to check some coat patterns of giraffe. Ah, that's a nice scene. Yo, that's a big boy. Okay. That was completely my bad. And those Aldonio giraffe are indeed Maasai giraffe. which tells me that their coat patterns aren't that different, because I didn't recognise that. So that's that could be the answer to the question. That I obviously not that different, because if they'd been that different, I would have picked up on that. So I apologise profusely, everyone. I actually used to have a really nice graphic that showed the different coat patterns of giraffes. I'm looking for it right now. While I'm looking for my giraffe coat pattern graphic, I found my zebra graphic. And there's 9 types of zebra, apparently, currently at the moment, which I did know, but probably would have forgotten. 1, 2. No, but I was right. This Maasai giraffe, the sides of the splodges are more jaggedy. And the South African giraffe, or reticulated giraffe, oh no, reticulated is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this graphic I've got 7 on at the moment. So the Maasai giraffe, which is indeed Felder Aldonio, my apologies, it looks quite dark, and the coat patterns are they look a bit more like jigsaw pieces, so sticky outy bits around the edges of those coat spots. The South African giraffe and the Angolan giraffe are quite similar. Fairly square blocks that sort of slot together. The Godorphin, the Numbian and the West African giraffe is in the next block. The Northern giraffe, which is the Numbian giraffe, I think, has quite wide spaces between their coat patterns. Oh, but so does the Godorphin giraffe. And the reticulated giraffe has really, really big blocks and tiny skinny lines. So that doesn't really help when all you can do is hear me talking, and it's probably just quite confusing to listen to. But I was right, the Maasai giraffe does indeed have more sort of sticky outy edges around those splodges. And I'm now actually going to be interested at some point to go back to Aldonio and recheck those giraffe coat patterns. But in the meantime, Elephant Pan, Botswana. This is definitely an African elephant. Is he also going to have a dust? There we go. It amazes me how dexterous these elephants can place their sand and the mud that they're using for dusting. You can see they sort of flick a bit under one armpit and flick a bit under the other armpit, behind each ear, like dabbing perfume, often a little bit between the back legs there, stop any chafing maybe. And then you see the little ones try and do it, and they're just throwing it around and splashing it about and just hoping for the best, really. I read somewhere, did I read somewhere or see somewhere? Oh, the perils of social media, hey? We just get bombarded with information. There was an elephant that needed to be relocated from somewhere, and they needed 2 cranes to relocate this massive male elephant, and they weighed him, and while he wasn't up at the same levels as the renowned Angolan 10-ton monster of old, he was significantly heavier than anyone expected him to be. and we only found this out because he needed to be relocated for some reason. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he had to be sedated and relocated, and they weighed him, and he was like 8 tons or something, like much heavier than anyone thought he would be. And it suggests.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart.
Every guide in Africa has been on an endless quest for the ultimate bush wear. Until now. Rugged Wear has a huge range of amazing bush gear for every wild situation. In the midday heat, those chilly winter mornings, in the storms of summer. Rugged Wear has the bush kit for every wild occasion. Locally made in South Africa, crafted with precision, stitched with quality.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. I grew up mostly here in the Lowveld. I grew up here pretty much on the southern side of Kruger National Park, a place called Marloth Park, for most of my years. Something surprising about myself, I did play drums in a band for many years. Best sighting I presented, we found Palumba and the 2 cubs, and the cubs are just way big.
Wild Earth Travel would like to take you to Namibia and Botswana. Drift over the desert in a hot air balloon, then glide through the lush Okavango Delta in a dugout canoe. This extraordinary journey blends dramatic landscapes with outdoor adventures and unparalleled wildlife encounters. Discover Africa like never before. Book now with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
One of the twins, or maybe both of the twins, if there were 2 in there, one of them would have maybe been stronger than the other, or they both may have been born smaller. So it does happen. I think it's possible for most animals to give birth to twins. It's not, the physiology of it. It can happen. Eggs can split, but it's not common, I don't think, in elephants. Check that boy. Just draping that tusk over there. I have actually been next to a sedated elephant before and tried to move that trunk. There is no way. There is no way 3 of me could pick that trunk up if it was just in a sedate, relaxed state. Even the elephant that was sedated was slightly smaller than this. I couldn't even sort of shove that trunk, let alone lift it. You forget just how big and heavy these animals are until you are up close, and you get a whole new appreciation for how immense these animals are. There's actually a few giraffe in the estate I stay in, and they're very relaxed. And you often have to give them quite a bit of space and be a little bit patient if you're driving. I'll sort of gently roll towards them and maybe stop, I don't know, 30 meters from them, let them know I'm present, and they sort of glance at you. And I'm like, all right, and they go higher, and then I sort of wait for a minute or so, and then I'll maybe edge forward a little bit more, and they look at you and you look back, and you can see them, they sort of go, oh, for goodness sake, okay, fine. But sometimes you do have to roll past them when they're quite close. I normally try and make sure they're at least, if you would imagine how far they could kick with the back leg. I'm further away than that, let's put it that way. But they are immense animals up close. Alrighty, we have hopped over here to Stony Point. I don't know Stony Point that well. I'm not entirely sure what's in that hole at the moment. I'm going to guess it's a penguin, but it might not be. So Kelly, let's stop guessing, and I'm sure it will become clear. I'm fairly sure it's a penguin. I don't know if we've got like a history on this penguin. Have we been watching it on this nest for a long time? That would be very cool if we could find out how long this penguin had been on this nest, if it is indeed a penguin at all. That reminds me of years and years and years ago, 10 years ago, I was on a drive in Madikwe with a lovely British family. I can't remember their names. Hello, if you remember me, lovely British family, and their 2 children. And something came running down the road, and I went, it's a skunk. And they said, do you get skunks? I went, no, we definitely don't get skunks in Africa. And I just remember seeing, it was a flash of white I'd seen, like a black and white, and it was a civet, but my brain got far too excited and confused. And so it's like this flash of white on black in here is reminding me of that moment. And it's probably not a skunk, and it's probably not a civet, so I'm going to stick with penguin. Oh, okay, thank you very much, Limbri. You got to see the penguin egg on this camera last night. Awesome, 100% confirmed a penguin. Thank you very much, Limbri, you are a lifesaver. And also very cool that there's an egg in there. I'm not sure when the first time was that we saw this egg on here. So it does vary time frames, incubation times, as with a lot of the birds, and it can also vary on conditions and food availability and temperatures and all the other things. Oh, and Jessica's also updating me. Thank you, Jessica. They've been here a few days to a week, maybe. Okay, excellent. Well, if that's how long they've been sitting on eggs in there, we're definitely still going to have a while to wait yet. Lots of birds here that I think some of the birds in my area may have been having even a second clutch. There's been lots of things calling. Lots of the migrants are definitely starting to head out now. And I don't know penguins well, but I assume it would be the same for penguins. Maybe they would have a second clutch, depending on the conditions and food availability and all the rest of it. I think these African penguins, incubation is at about 40 days, somewhere around there. But again, books give you this information, but it depends on temperatures and conditions and you know, location of laying, and they do share. I know they do share the incubation duties. I actually saw a picture again somewhere a while ago. I'm not sure if it was on this page. I think it might have been. It was a picture on social media and people getting really close to penguins to take pictures. It's not cool disturbing any of these animals for pictures or for any other reasons. You know, and that's one of the things I really like about these cameras. Here on Africam, we are doing. Hello, little Gussie. We're not intrusive. We are not, okay, maybe when we, the camera moves, or maybe when we install them, but it's so important that we don't disturb nature any more than we need to. It's such a shame that people are taking over so many natural areas and we're not respecting nature, and okay, people have to live somewhere, and we have to drive cars and whatever else it is, but we just need to be mindful about giving nature and animals as much space and time and peace and consideration as we possibly can, and let this penguin quietly incubate here in peace for its 40 days or whatever it's going to be. But yeah, I did see someone taking a picture somewhere of penguins very, very close up the other day. It makes me sad. We need to respect their space and their privacy. Good luck, little pengu, and good luck with your incubation. I hope your eggs stay safe and warm. Good efforts. I think let's head back across to 10-bit Elephant Park. Here, check these cormorants here. Just sunning themselves on those rocks. Excellent work from Stony.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
At the back. Wow, I definitely need to get into the bush more. I'm starting to doubt myself on antelope. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're in Yala. It's so interesting seeing animals in different parts of Africa though on these oh yes, okay, good. Thank you camera for confirming that they are in Yala. It's so cool to be able to see these different animals from different parts of Africa that I may never get to go to. Always super cautious when they're having a drink. dark tips on their tail though. I don't know if I've ever noticed that. I honestly don't think I've ever noticed those dark tips on Inyala tails. Beautiful view of these Inyala coming down for a drink. They were looking nice and healthy as well, end of this rainy season. While we leave these girlies to have a nice little drink at the water's edge, let's head over to Victoria Falls. We'll see what we've got happening over there. I'm starting to doubt all my antelopes now after seeing those elands. I haven't seen elands for a long time. I really do need to get a lot more bush time, I think. I think I must arrange my life and just disappear off into as many isolated areas as possible. The lovely Victoria Falls. I have been to Victoria Falls before. I did a road trip with my best friend from England, and we drove, well, she came all the way from Johannesburg, we drove all the way up, all the way through the Kruger, all the way up through Botswana, ending up at Victoria Falls. It was a pretty epic road trip, actually. So we've got a lovely grey heron. I think we've got another sacred ibis by the looks of it. Having a dig around there, looking for things and stuff in that nice soft sand. Invertebrates or maybe some crabs or something in that lovely soft sand, having a good dig around. And lots of birds have their I never know whether it's called them bills or beaks. I think it's personal preference. Their beaks have often got very lots of sensory cells in them, so the beaks or the bills are very sensitive and can pick up movements or any touch that they're feeling in water or in sand, so they know when to grab something delicious out of the water. I wanted to tell you about the snake. I found a snake last night. Well, I wasn't sure what it was for a little while. I went outside after dark, and obviously, good bush people that we are, we always have a torch or put lights on after dark. And it turned out it was an East African shovel snout, and it was a beautiful little black snake with silver speckles on, and that looks like that a white-headed vulture? I think it is. First of all, I thought for a second it might have been leopard-faced, but they've often got sort of purple, like pinky purple on their heads. It's definitely not a cape or a whiteback. I think I'm going to stick with white-headed vulture. Beautiful view, looking at that bird in the top of that tree. And I think we often see vultures and other big birds like this sitting high. They'll sit high up in often dead trees. People think, they get the impression that vultures are just sitting in dead trees to be a bit creepy. They're not. They have to find perches in trees without too many branches, because otherwise they can't take off, basically. And it's all, I've watched vultures and other big birds attempt to take off from not the top of trees like this, or from living trees with lots of leaves in, and it's not a very elegant affair. So this vulture's settled nicely on the top of this tree here, and I'm sure he's going to be able to take off very easily from here. I'm going white-headed and I'm sticking with it. Greg, is how high birds fly dependent on how heavy their feathers are? No, I don't think so. I think how high birds fly is dependent on, possibly to a certain extent, the shape of their feathers. From what I believe, lots of very high flying birds, and vultures are some of the highest flying birds going, and as we know, they are gliders. Beautiful demonstration from our vulture there, thank you very much. Hardly flapping at all. He comes down there to land, going round and circle, still hasn't flapped, still hasn't flapped, still no flapping, still no flapping. Come on, stick with me, let's see how long it is before this vulture flaps. That's some impressive gliding there, still no flap. There might be a nice little thermal or something actually coming up off this open area. There's lots of trees around this pan. Maybe the airflow is different because of the open area. See, this vulture still hasn't flapped. Just gliding. And vultures are some of the highest flying birds, I believe, and they do it by gliding. And gliding is dependent on feather shape. I would imagine there's a certain element of body weight ratio to feather structure. That sort of thing will also help gliding. I don't know how well really small birds would do gliding. Don't like high up. So Greg, I'm going to say no, it's not dependent on how heavy their feathers are. I think it's going to be more likely to do with feather shape, body structure, body weight. I would imagine something like lung capacity might also impact whether or not a bird can fly super high or not. If the air is thinner when they start getting way up there, if they haven't got good lung capacity, then they might not be able to extract what they need out of the air, the thinner air up there. Again, I'm postulating wildly here. Great questions though, please do keep them coming. This is really good for working my brain, and it's also telling me that I definitely need to get a bit more bush time when I was doubting myself whether or not something was an Inyala or not. And I definitely need to get more practice with these different species and subspecies and things in different areas around Africa. Please keep sending in these fabulous questions to wildearth.tv/questions, or you can scan the QR code that's on your screens. Even if you don't have questions, even if you just have something interesting to share about something that's been going on in your bush life lately, like my East African shovel East African, I don't know what an East African shovel snout was doing on my veranda here in sunny Limpopo, but we're pretty sure that's what it was. So even if you have exciting wildlife viewings that you want to share with us, it doesn't have to be in Africa. If you've seen cool things wherever you are, please do send them through. We would love to hear about all of them. Let's leave these impalas, the babies who have gotten very big already. Let's leave these impalas and head across to my old stomping ground, the fabulous Tau waterhole. I've spent many a happy hour gazing over Tau's waterhole. I think they had quite a lot of rain up in Madikwe recently. I have heard that there was actually quite serious problems with flooding up there. So I'm actually excited to see. Wow. Okay. Hey, yay! That's cool. That's very cool. Look at those ostrich. They just look like that. They must be sitting down. I can't imagine they're standing up with their heads. But there has been a lot of rain there, so who knows how tall that vegetation has got. Wow, it looks like spring flowers up there still.
Zitatamana wena, moya wa mina, ukomba wena, takuranza loko tamana wena.
It's been a great morning out and about and exploring.
That is amazing. It's very hard to explain what this feels like.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature. My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so because I've... Best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
We are here with a male leopard.
I'm going to see if I can find someone that I used to work with at Tau, one of the guides there, and I'm going to see if I can get an idea on those flowers if no one else has done it for us yet. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And if he doesn't know, I might ask him to go and have a look for us, because I don't know what they are and I like to know these things. Some lovely waterbuck here. There's a young one. Hello, Lily. The baby waterbuck are quite cute. I'm not sure if anyone's seen it here at this Tau camera, but I know cheetah have actually killed baby waterbuck a couple of times at the Tau waterhole. So anyone that says, oh, carnivores don't eat waterbuck because they taste funny, I can confirm that they do indeed eat waterbuck. We've lost a couple of baby waterbuck around this waterhole over the years, probably far more than I know about. Not that I think that's going to happen to that waterbuck. I think that particular waterbuck's going to stay nice and safe and sound. Ah, wildebeest. It's very lush there still. Oh look, there's springbok there. That's cool. I don't know if these springbok have been hanging around here for any length of time. FC, if you could tell me, that would be great. But normally in Madikwe we just used to see the springbok up on the plains there, up on the sort of towards the northern fence. So probably driving at the speed limit, maybe a good half an hour, 40 minutes from Tau at least. They used to hang around up on the plains area. We used to occasionally see one male at the Tau waterhole, but I can't imagine he hung around there much because there's no girls there. So that's very cool that there's a little group that looks like they might live at the waterhole now. This is such a stunning place to have a camera. The camera was there when I started working there. I went through a phase of actually speaking with, bizarrely, this is 2012 or 13, somewhere around there. I actually I've spent a lot of time speaking to the guys from Africam about the camera because there was a problem with it and I wanted to try and help them with it. So how crazy that sort of 12, 13 years later, the camera is still there doing brilliantly, and I'm now on the other side of it. What a stunning place though. Oh, zooming out is great because I'm trying to get a gauge on just how much water came down and how big this waterhole's got. Okay, that's that side. There's a lot of grass in there. Wow. Well, I do know they had big rain there. Still looking super green and lush. Erica Oldno, you're saying as a South African it's very weird to see ostriches in such greenery. It's quite rare. It is odd, isn't it? But I tell you what I found odder was seeing them at the beach. I remember my first trip to Cape Town and I could see an ostrich and the sea in the same image. That freaked me out a little bit. But I have seen ostrich quite a few times in the Kruger, if it's been very lush, or even places I had no idea until I went that the Kalahari can be so green. When you used to say to me Kalahari, I would think orange sand and not much else. But the grass gets super, they're not so small either now. Wow, there's lots left. Should I try and count them? There's at least 10 there. That's that's quite a lot to get to that size. Well done, Mr. and Mrs. Egyptian Goose. I actually saw an Egyptian goose in England the other day, which also confused me quite a lot, because Egyptian geese to me, oh, careful little one in that mud. Egyptian geese to me are South Africa. What they look like, the sound, and I saw one stood on a wall when I was in England not long ago. That was quite confusing. But yes, I hear you, Erica. Very strange to see ostriches sitting in grass. But I couldn't believe it. I went to a reserve far up in the sort of almost northern Kalahari side, and it was insane. There was chin height grass in lots of places, and then dry season comes and it's sand. Nature is fascinating. I think I actually said yesterday, it's strange how day turns to night, turns to day, and it's strange how well, not strange, but the seasons, the change of season, how brilliant nature is at what it does. And you get ostriches in grass and at the beach, and you get lots of grass in the Kalahari Desert. And technically, Madikwe is a semi-desert area. It's very arid up there, but look at all the grass and all the unidentified flowers. Yeah, I think I'm going to contact someone and try and get an idea on these flowers. They look like big buttercups. See, this is where you need to look in Madikwe for leopards. I'd be very interested to know, actually, if anyone's ever spotted a leopard up there. It's possible. It's I've seen a leopard in those rocks. Probably, where are we? Maybe 500 or 800 meters further along to the left. But they walk in these koppies. They're up there. So I would say, unlikely there's going to be nothing happening down there at the waterhole. But it's not a bad shout. Very early mornings, or you probably can't see that far in evenings. But leopards walk on those rocks because I've seen them.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
Never seen them together though. That would be a cool sighting. I have just checked in with our mission control centre, and it seems that none of us have ever managed to ID those flowers. So I am indeed going to contact someone from Tau and ask them to attempt that for us. Maybe he can send me some pictures. And maybe we can finally work out what those flowers are, because there's lots of them and they've been there for a long time. So I will see if we can get us an ID back. Sandy Franklin, 69. I'm doing great, thank you. It's nice to hear my train of thought and deciding what the animals are. Yeah, it makes it a bit more, it makes it interesting that I do. We don't, anyone that thinks they know everything should probably be doing something else, in my opinion. And it's part of the joy of the bush and nature is we don't know everything, and we're not supposed to know everything, and nor would I want to know everything, but I'm very nosy. And these questions really get me thinking, and I enjoy sharing my thought processes with other people that are curious about nature, curious about behaviours, curious about animals, are my people, to be honest. And these Ellies are having a lovely little swim. Look at these guys in Elephant Pan, Botswana. Apparently the fees froze, apparently. The feed froze, so we've hopped back across to Elephant Pan. But yes, thank you, Sandy. I also enjoy musing the whys and wheres and hows of our magical natural world. It's actually, it's really nice. You can feel when you're, when I was guiding full time, so I worked for 8-9 years, drove 42 days on, 2 days off. It's quite a different environment to being able to sit here and watch these cameras. It's, you know, if there's nothing on the camera, then there's not much I can do about it, really. You know, what's in front of the camera is what's in front of the camera, and it's much less pressured. We shouldn't, but I know for myself and many other people I know, I've got very good friends who are very good guides, and it doesn't matter how good you are, you shouldn't, but it can be quite difficult to not take it personally. People, you know, have spent their whole lives wanting to come to Africa and see these things and see all these amazing animals, and it's quite pressured. And I used to take it quite personally if I couldn't find them the animal they were looking for, and we know intellectually that there's nothing we can do about it. If the lions have left, then they've left, you know. And I really enjoy just sharing my musings of why things may or may not be what they are. I love getting input from everyone. It's such a joy being able to speak to so many people at the same time and get interactions from people from all over the world, from slightly cool Cape Town to 4:30 a.m. insomnia, not being able to get to sleep in the States. Sorry, maybe it was Canada, apologies. It's an absolute honour and a pleasure to be able to share these cameras with you all. Janice, thank you. Thoroughly enjoyed the show today. Been fun hearing your stream of thought. Great, I'm really glad. Yeah, get used to it, because I love sharing my streams of thought with all of you out there as well. It's nice to ponder and wonder, and if we don't all know the answers, then that's fine too. Seems our elephant swim time may be completing. It's funny, if you watch, it's often the adults that will leave first. And the little ones always want to stay 5 more minutes. Come on, it's time to go. It's time to go and eat the trees. But just 5 more minutes. You often see that when they're being ushered out the water. Oh, hi, Dark Mane Lover. How are you doing? Thank you for addressing this about not knowing everything. And it's great to learn. The day we stop learning is the day we stop living, I think. And the more you know, the more you realise what you don't know, I think, which is sometimes frustrating, but also absolutely fabulous. What a joy! Imagine if you thought, right, no, that's it. I know everything about everything now. What's the point? What's left to seek? What's left to know? What's left to learn? I really appreciate everyone joining me this afternoon or this evening or 4:30 in the morning. Apologies. From wherever you are. And thank you so much for interacting with us. We really enjoy hearing what everyone is up to and hearing everyone's thoughts and questions and everything that goes with it. I will be back tomorrow. If you would continue to enjoy a stream of consciousness, I might try to stay quiet a little bit longer and let you enjoy the bush a bit more tomorrow. But please do come back. Join us tomorrow. We'll see what's happening on all of these cameras. I'm going to contact someone from Tao and see if I can persuade him to go and ID these flowers for us. That would be very cool. We might not know, but as long as we want to know, that is the important thing. I hope everyone has an amazing rest of day, and I'll see you again soon.